Let's break down the striking style of the notorious one, Conor McGregor. If you like this video, make sure to click like and subscribe. First technique we're going to discuss is Conor's high rear roundhouse, and he throws this kick very karate style in that it has very little telegraph and very little wind up. He's not trying to take your head off with it, but since he has good mobility and flexibility, he can just kind of place that leg up there fairly effortlessly. And he throws this move a lot. All the clips you're seeing are different instances of him actually throwing this technique. Now, besides being very dangerous all by itself, the high roundhouse kick accomplishes a few things in this situation. Because of how often he throws it, the opponent becomes very, very scared of removing their hand from the side of their head. This means they're much less likely to throw a punch with that hand. The second thing this technique accomplishes is that the force of the kick actually gets the opponent to move to McGregor's right. This is a big part of McGregor's strategy, and it's something we'll discuss later on when talking about his left hand. Second kick you really got to worry about if you're fighting McGregor is his leg kick, and he showed that he is a killer leg kicker in the Diaz 2 fight. First time he really brought it out, but man, did he do good with it. These are not superficial leg kicks. If you notice right here, look at the shin connection that he's getting on that leg. That hurts a lot. Now, he can really only use this outside leg kick when him and his competitor have the same leg forward, but since Dustin Poirier is also a southpaw, this kick will be open for McGregor, and it could be a giant factor in that fight. Side note, this is another kick that'll move his opponent to the right. Next, let's talk about the kick that I feel like won him the Mendez fight. This is the snap kick, and he comes with this kick straight to the gut, digs in with it, and over time, oh my god, it'll suck the wind and the soul right out of your body. Now, this is a kick that you bring from straight up from underneath. Don't have to throw it that hard, but all you gotta do is place it right in the breadbasket, and over time, it will kill you. One more thing I'll mention about the snap kick is after this kick is thrown, it tends to move his opponents backwards, which is also going to be a big part of the McGregor strategy. We will now discuss his side kick, and he's going to throw this one of two ways. If you have your left leg forward and he has his right leg forward, he's going to throw a low side kick. And this thing can be very dangerous. If that hits hard enough, it can really hyperextend the knee. The second way he'll throw it is to the body, and usually he does this if the opponent just kind of starts pawing with the lead hand. Doesn't happen often, but it does happen. It is a pattern you can see him do. Watch. Pause and boom. Side note, this is another technique that will move the opponent back. Now let's talk about this sick scissor kick that he throws. And this one, I really like how he does this. Now keep in mind, this is all going to be one clip. First, what Conor's going to do is throw that low side kick like we just talked about. Now he's going to throw out a move that looks like the low side kick, but it's not. It's a setup for this jumping roundhouse kick. Now McGregor actually throws this technique a lot, especially in the Holloway and the Seaver fights. It seems to come in two different forms. One is like a knee, and the second is a pure roundhouse kick type of technique. The important thing to note, however, is that both of these techniques back the opponent up and to the right. McGregor has got a solid hook kick in his arsenal, and a hook kick is a lead leg technique that's going to come up and around. Very difficult technique to do, but McGregor actually does them very well and fairly regularly. Side note, this technique is going to make the opponent back up and to the right. You may be noticing a pattern. We got to talk about his spinning side kick next, because he's got a really nice spinning side kick. What you're going to do for this one is channel the power of a spin and add it to the side kick. So watch, he starts facing his opponent, looks over the back shoulder, loads up a side kick as he spins, then delivers that to the gut. And this is a solid kick from McGregor. He could break this out. You saw him right there do it on Poirier. He could do it again. And just a side note, this is a technique that moves the opponent back. Now let's talk about the McGregor spinning hook kick. And what this kick does is it adds the power of a spin onto the hook kick we discussed earlier. McGregor's going to throw this kick in two different ways. The first way, he puts his hand on the floor in more of the capoeira style version of the technique. And in the second way, he's not going to put his hand on the floor for more of the taekwondo version of the technique. Now this is actually a good technique for McGregor. He has had some good success with it. And something interesting happens even when he misses. I want you to pay attention to something. When he misses the kick, his opponent ends up on his right. So it's the same position as the other kicks, just a different way of getting there, forcing the opponent to go back and to the right. Okay, now it's time to discuss the elephant in the room. That left hand is an absolute touch of death. If he even gets close to you with this thing, people literally just fall flat on their asses. It is unreal. And we are going to learn how he's setting that up. Now, in order to understand McGregor's left hand, you have to understand that McGregor is what's called an aggressive counter striker. What that means is he's going to run out to the middle of the ring. He's going to start pawing at your hand as he jumps in and out, just to kind of toy with you, gather his distance, and figure out where you are in space. Then he's going to start taunting you. And what he's doing is putting pressure on you so that you feel like you have to do something. And if you come at him, that left-hand counter is ready to go. Now, if you don't come after him, he's still going to come after you. And he has a lot of ways to set up that left hand. The first one we're going to discuss is setting it up with the kicks. So the thing to know about McGregor is if you end up in this position, you are about to be knocked stone dead. Here it is again. Notice the opponent is on McGregor's right, and his back is pressed up against the cage with nowhere to run. What that's going to do is open up a clear path for this left hand to slay. Now, a very common way for Conor to get to that position is to use his kicks, as you're seeing right here. Now, this, of course, is a flying knee, not a kick, but you'll see again he's using it to set up that position. Here's him throwing the spinning hook kick from earlier. Different way of getting to the position, but you'll see there he is. Diaz has his back to the cage, and McGregor has a clear path to throw the hand. So here it is again, spin, misses, but gets to that position to throw that left hand. So what's going on here? Well, we know that Conor's kicking game is designed to back his opponent up and to the right. Eventually, if he keeps doing that, your back's going to be on the cage with nowhere to go. And that is when he's going to use one final kick to get to his money position. And from his money position, you're in trouble. Either he's going to knock you dead with one shot, start throwing a bunch of combos, or he's just going to back up and the process begins all over again. A really solid combo for McGregor on the attack is his lead uppercut to the cross. And he uses this one fairly frequently, and I see him do it in two different ways. One is fairly traditional from his stance, and then the second one is a little more unorthodox. He skips into it, and he usually pins people up against the cage with it. On the attack, you can't sleep on the McGregor jab-cross combo. He doubles it up sometimes like he did against Alvarez. And like any good boxer, man, he just has this combo very well developed, and it's dangerous. Gotta be careful, Poirier. Now, with McGregor taking more of the counter-fighting role, in my opinion, his best counter is the hand trap left. And if I slow this down, you can see it. What he's doing is whenever someone jabs at him, he slaps their hand away and sets himself up for a cross. You can see it right there. And McGregor has dished out a lot of damage with this technique. This is actually the move he used to slay Aldo. If you slow that down and check a different angle, you can see him stop the hand there, then deliver the left. And that was all she wrote for Aldo. Let's talk about another really solid technique from McGregor on the counter. This is the fade. And what McGregor's going to do with this one is move back just enough. It only takes a half an inch to make the opponent miss. When the opponent misses, a clear line of attack opens up for McGregor, and he can land that trademark left hand. Another version of the fade can be done with the footwork too. So here you'll see as Eddie comes in, Conor uses his feet to get just out of the way. Then when Eddie's done and missed his attack, Conor's going to lunge back in with an attack of his own. Now Conor did elements of this when he fought Jose Aldo. You'll notice that he uses his footwork to get in and out and then makes Jose come in and clips him. Last counter shot we'll take a look at is this sick little bob that McGregor does. And what he does is when someone throws a hook at him, he's going to change his level and the hook is going to sail over the top of his head. When that happens, there's going to be a moment where Conor has a clear path to throw that left hand. And here you can see he'll take it.